What's up, guys? Bachata Rockstar here. Gonna shoot another Star Realms educational video. Hair's getting long, beard's getting long. We're gonna keep plugging away. This unfortunate times have given me a lot of time to play some Star Realms and enjoy this game that I love, and it's rekindled a lot of that love. So I'm really excited to bring you another game. Hopefully, educate everybody a little bit and show you guys a nice, fun game. And the main thing I wanted to talk about in this game is one, scrap is awesome. Two, having a plan and sticking with it and realizing your plan early versus not having a plan initially and then later on having a plan. And usually it's the person who figures out the way that they win the game first who typically wins the game. And you're going to see as this game progresses that my plan, luckily comes to fruition much faster than my opponent's plan, and I end up winning the game by skin of my teeth. So let's take a look. Here we go. Turn one. Okay, so I think this is an odd play. He buys the orbital shuttle, he ignores the Probot. I think the Probot is a significantly better card. I think it is the best card out here. You cannot let your opponent get scrap on you, especially when you're the turn one opponent. When you're going first, you have initiative basically. You get to act first, and being able to scrap gives you an opportunity to not only have a much more efficient deck, but you get to have a much more efficient deck first. So if he buys a scrap and I buy a scrap, he's going to realize his scrap down deck faster than mine simply by the fact that he's got one extra turn on me. So I think buying the Probot here is the absolute only play. Orbital Shuttle is fine, and I'd be more inclined to go for the Orbital Shuttle if there was like other big cards out there. But the highest card out here is a 5-drop. What do you need the trade for? You don't need the trade. There's a bunch of small damage cards. There's Lancer, which is a small damage card. Starbarge, if it combines, is a small damage card. And then you've already got a scrap out here, which gives you trade too. So you're only losing 2 trade, and there's not really anything big out here to buy. Why are you getting Orbital Shuttle? Or why not get the Lancer, if nothing else? Just get the damage now. So I think this is a weird play. But what it does is it gives him flexibility later on in his turns. It gives him the opportunity to buy other cards, and probably more expensive cards than me. So I think this is a good play. I think it's totally fine. So in my head, I've got 5 trade. He doesn't buy the Probot. I may get Aging Battleship just because that card's amazing, but probably I'm going to go Probot Lancer Starbarge is my guess until I flip a second Scrapper. There's no way in hell I'm going to let this guy going first with a bunch of trade get a scrap edge on me. I'm definitely buying both of them. I think that's a very clear play here. So you buy both. An argument should be made to buy the Coalition Messenger, but I think just getting 2 scrappers and staying ahead on efficiency and staying ahead on scrap is the right thing. Another argument could be made to not get the Star Barge here because you're adding these 2 scrappers to try to get efficiency in your deck. Why are you also going to add a card that pretty much bloats your deck? But I think getting the 2 trade here is actually fine. And also considering that there's a bunch of other yellows out here, and you can see that another one even flips here, I think that actually sways it more towards a Star Barge being okay to buy. But I'm also okay with just ignoring the Star Barge and saying, forget it, I'm just going to make a super efficient deck. I'm going to buy all the Lancers and Burrowers and Ravagers that I can and just shoot them in the face. So while this is the scrap play, this is kind of setting up to maybe try to get one of these too. So it's not bad, and the fact that there's so many yellows makes it fine. But I could easily see not buying a Starbird as well. So we're thinking about. And here's a weird thing. So my opponent already has 5 trade in his hand. You'll see it. He ends up buying Coalition Messenger instead of Heavy Cruiser or Aging Battleship. I think he should have absolutely grabbed the heavy cruiser or Coalition Messenger Lancer or the Aging Battleship. All of these are grid play, and I think heavy cruiser is the best play. When it's 4 damage, draw a card and potentially draw a second card. Like, it's weightless, it's damage. You can't go wrong. Aging Battleship, also very good. It's 5 damage, gives you 2 card draws, potentially 7 damage. You know, like, it's a really good card. I mean, this card is theoretically 3 card draws and 7 damage. Like, wow. You know, it's really good. And he ends up buying the Coalition Messenger, which I think is fine if you end up deciding to get the Lancer. Or you don't have 5 trade. But then he goes, Falcon? Then he gets the Frontier Runner? I don't like that play. I mean, I have scraps that don't scrap the discard pile, so this extra card draw doesn't. This being able to discard into the discard pile is not really that important to me. Yes, it's an extra card draw, but what is he drawing into? He's just drawing into trade. He's not really drawing into damage, so I don't really like this play. I don't think he has a plan yet. I don't think he's thinking about what he wants to do. But my plan is pretty obvious. Scrap like crazy and win the game. Like, I've already got 2 scrappers. A 3rd scrapper flips. This is a no-brainer. And now he's pretty much playing catch-up at this point. Okay, so he gets 6. He buys the heavy cruiser, finally. I think it's a fine play. This card will combo with this heavy cruiser, and Imperial Falcon will combo with each other. I think it's great. I think this is a solid play. It's absolutely the right play. You know, and it keeps a really excellent yellow away from me. So I make a little bit of an odd play here. I end up getting the Lancer, and then getting the storage silo. My thinking was that he didn't have a lot of damage, and I was going to need just a little bit protection, just a little bit to win the game. I wanted to force him to funnel 3 damage in to the storage silo, and then that would give me that 1 extra turn to win the game. That was my thinking. In hindsight, probably just should have skipped it, or if I was going to buy something, maybe buy an Explorer that could scrap itself, but it ends up working out. So he gets 6 trade and buys a supply depot. Yeah, I mean, it's a good play. It's protecting his face, which is good because I'm going aggro and I'm going scrap and aggro, so I think that's pretty clear. And I think it's a good play. Argument could be made to get Aging Battleship, you know, because that would combo with all his yellow cards. He does have a, you know, I'm drawing a blank on it. And it's got the other 5-drop yellow. Cruiser? Imperial Cruiser? Yeah, whatever. And so I think that could be a combo as well if you want to be a little more aggressive, a little more damage focused, whereas this is a little more protection focused. And I think this is actually the better play simply because I am going aggro and he should be trying to protect himself. So I think it's fine. And he's got a plan, right? His plan now is protect his face. Protect his face, be defensive, and try not to lose the game, and then slowly but surely wear me down. Hopefully I don't focus on any sort of healing, and yeah, go from there. So my initial idea was to just buy this warning beacon and keep up the pressure, have 2 bases, you know, just force him to put a little bit of damage in. But I get lucky and I get a 5th scout, so I end up buying the Aging Battleship. So in a weird way, the Star Barge also influenced me to buy the Aging Battleship because now these will combo. I think I would have bought the Aging Battleship anyway, just because it's such a great card, and I kind of want to keep the yellows away from my opponent now that he's starting to acquire some yellows. But there's something to be said, like if I don't draw a scout, to just getting the warning beacon and going from there. So, you know, you got to adjust, but My plan is pretty clear. Buy reds, buy yellows, scrap down, kill him. Oh, look at this play. Really nice. And he buys the defense station and then puts it on top of his deck. This is really good. So he's got a plan, right? Plan is base it the fuck up. That's his plan. My only problem with that plan is I am playing a little too aggressively for that, for at least in my opinion, for that to be a really viable strategy. But it's a strategy he's decided to go with. His plan is now available. But remember, my plan has been going since the beginning of the game. And this is fine. We scrap, we shoot, easy peasy. Some people might have asked why didn't I buy Federal Transport or Stellar Reef. At this point, they're just bloating my deck. We want our deck to be as efficient as possible. Ooh, God. So this purchase right here actually made me just think about pivoting for one turn. So I destroy his base, and oh no, okay, never mind. Yeah, I buy the Burrower. That's fine. We're buying damage. It's okay. He buys Bulbul Market. I would have liked that. And that's fine. He's basing up. It's all good. So here's a little bit of an odd play, and I think this is a play that maybe I should not have done. Is I end up buying, excuse me. I end up buying a Frontier Ferry. I think this is actually the wrong play. I think I should realize, hey, you know what? My opponent's going to heal. My opponent is playing defensively. I need to go completely offensively. Like, the only way I'm going to beat him is to kill him in that small window where his deck is not efficient enough yet to win the game. So, I think buying Frontier Ferry here is a mistake. My thinking was pair it with the storage silo, maybe get some more trade, buy one of these bigger cards. It has base destruction on it, so maybe I can use it to destroy one of his bases, but ultimately I think it is a mistake. I think it's an inefficiency in my deck. And, yeah. And see, I end up drawing it now. It's like, okay. You know. Maybe I can use it to kill his base. But I don't even do that. Oh, Lord. And so once he gets Loyal Colony, I realize this game needs to end in 3 turns. Because he's got 5 plus 1, 5 plus 5 plus 1. So he's going to draw that Loyal Colony. He's going to draw that Federal Transport again. This game's going to be over. If I don't kill him in 3 turns, this game is going to be over. So I make a bit of a mistake here as well. I actually wasn't paying attention. And I shot the base before I destroyed it. So what I should have done is actually destroyed the base and scrapped the storage silo. So if you notice here, I draw a card, and then I scrap the storage silo because I'm going all aggro. Like, this is a very clear sign. I'm just going to go aggro. It's the only way I can win. Boom. I really should have killed that with this Frontier Ferry. But what are you going to do? You play too fast. Sometimes you play too fast. And I get lucky that he ends up drawing pretty poorly here and doesn't really do anything to advance his deck. He doesn't buy another base. He doesn't put anything else out. So we got a shot here. This is the window that we needed. So we got lucky too. We get to kill his base. And again, I think I made another mistake by not scrapping to deal another 3 damage here. I'm like, deck is still a little inefficient now because of that. Yeah, now we have a fucking major turn. We got 22 right here. He's got 34 effective, so boom. And then we draw really good here. Another 6, another 8, 2 discards. Blam, blam. We get him down to 4 damage, and we get really lucky. We got really lucky, because he should be dead. He should be dead right now. Because if you remember, the base that he had before had 4 health on it. So he should be dead right now. But We get very lucky. He draws terrible. And we have just enough. We win the game. That's it. So, you notice we had a plan. We had a plan very early, and we were lucky in a sense that we could execute it right away. 2 scraps on turn 1, great. Let's go to town. And our opponent was sort of like, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I haven't decided yet. So I'll just buy trade, because trade will give me options in terms of like how I want to build my deck. And that's fine. Like, that's not a bad way of thinking. But the reason you should value getting scrap over getting trade is because trade is dependent on the trade row. Scrap is always good in the early game. It's always going to help your deck. It's just going to make your deck more efficient. And then later on, you can buy other stuff if you need to. Whereas if you buy the trade card initially, you're investing in the future. You're already saying, I'm going to play a long style game. And when my opponent says that to me, I go, no, you're not. We're going to play a short game. I'm going to buy a bunch of damage and just kill you. And he gave me that opportunity. And he gave me that opportunity on turn 1. So I think that's honestly what cost him the game. Now, I got lucky that I was able to get other cards and further my strategy and win this game. But, I still made 2 pretty significant scrap mistakes that could have lost me the game. He should have been dead already. I remember what I was saying. If he gets established, if he's able to put 2 bases out and play that flagship and, then maybe I don't have enough damage to kill him at that point. I went all in on that turn, and I was like, oh man, I need to kill him now. But had I not made the mistakes that I made earlier, I would have won. And so I got lucky in a sense that I made 2 mistakes, but I was like about 2 turns ahead of him, and I was more efficient than him, so I ended up winning the game. But even when you play well and even when you win, there's still things to think about, still things to analyze. So, I think the main things to take away from this is have a plan, realize it as early as possible, think about and figure out how you're going to win the game as early as possible, and when you do decide to make your deck efficient, commit to that efficiency. If a card has a scrap ability on it, if it scraps itself, very often you're going to want to use it once and scrap it immediately. Very often those cards have that scrap ability there, so that way you can play them, get the effect, and then get rid of them and make your deck more efficient. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Keep learning, keep rocking. Rockstar will see you later.